Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy.
The husband and wife podcast talking all things Onyx Storm.
I'm JC.
And I'm Sean.
And we finally finished with Onyx Storm, so we are ready to share our reactions.
We were so lucky to have been invited to join Waterstones Leamington to share in the excitement of the midnight release of Onyx Storm on Monday. Speak to fans, run some fun little activities. We'll be sharing a bonus episode on this with our subscribers very soon.
For more information about how to subscribe and the benefit that you get in various levels, just visit our website faithfullyfantasy.com and click on Become a Member.
We've been so careful in not sharing spoilers on any of our social media accounts since finishing the books, and we want to keep that going. So we'll be starting today's episodes with a spoiler-free reaction segment.
Then we will get to the good bits, talking spoilers, fit reaction, big questions, and all the things we got right.
And what we got so wrong. If you haven't already listened to our Onyx Storm pilot episode, which covered our final predictions just before the release of the book, then check that out before listening to this one.
Today we'll be going back over those predictions that we look in during the rapid fire question sections of that episode. Before we get to the spoiler section, we will give you a bit of warning and give you time to jump ship.
Before we get into that, let's start with our spoiler-free reactions. So we're going to run through some questions. Be really careful not to spoil it. I mean, we got editing to sort out. This part of the episode will not be released into the public with any spoilers at all. My first question, are you okay?
I will say yes, I'm better than I thought it will be. So yes, I survived the storm, that's for sure. What about you?
I survived the storm too. I didn't move very much from the sofa for 3 days. It took me such a long... I will get into that later. It took me such a long time to read it, and longer than I thought. But I felt like I ran a marathon. I am okay. I wasn't okay, but now I'm okay. And we're talking like the day after I finished it.
Yes.
So it's only taken me like less than 24 hours to recover.
Okay, second question. Did the book meet or exceed or fall short of your expectations?
It exceeded them. Like, so much information. I can't believe we got the answers to so many things that we were questioning after Iron Flame. Absolutely exceeded from start to finish.
Yes, I will say exactly the same. There's not many questions that didn't get answers in this one. I'm really surprised about it. So definitely exceed my expectations.
So I think there's some questions that still remain unanswered, which is exciting enough to kind of keep us speculating about the things we've been speculating since Fourth Wing in some cases.
Yes.
But there's also so many more new questions.
Yes.
I don't know, we've been talking about what books we'll cover next after this one. I'm not sure we'll get through this quickly. So many questions.
Yes.
Where do you rank this book in the series?
I think I will put this one first place now.
Same.
I will go for Onyx Storm first, Fourth Wing second, and Iron Flame third one. And there's nothing wrong about Iron Flame. Well, we need to put in a rank. And I think this one, from the first chapter, you are just non-stop.
Yeah.
With Fourth Wing, I think maybe was stretching while he give me that hook that, what's going on? I want to know what's going to happen. With Iron Flame, maybe it was part 2 when I started feeling that rush. From this one was pretty much first chapter and boom, I'm already in. I'm already hooked.
That's so true. I hadn't thought of it like that. Definitely the same for me. Onyx Storm, Fourth Wing, Iron Flame. Normally for me, when I'm rating a series, it takes a lot to beat the first one, because the first one is where you get all the world building, and it's like your first entrance into this whole new fantasy world. Onyx Storm has just expanded the world so much that, yeah, and this is weird for me because Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, just because I'm so invested in the series, I will not give them lower than 5 stars. But Onyx Storm just wipes the table with them. Like, it is so good. Yes. I loved it.
So what did you like most about Onyx Storm?
Probably that. Probably the world building and how much we got to learn about the lore and the extra parts of the just increased knowledge of the whole world and that these people are living in. I also really loved how clear it is that Rebecca Yarros has grown up and lives very close to war. While she's living in a country that isn't a war zone, some of the quotes, some of the lines, some of the words that, and we can get into that a bit later, she clearly understands what war does to people, how it affects people, how peace is a privilege, and yeah, just the whole thing just gave me goosebumps just about how much Rebecca Yarros understands the situation of war.
I agree. There's more information in this book, and I would say that's one of the things that I wasn't expecting, but I really enjoy all the information that we're getting in this book. It's so full packed. Oh yeah, world building, character building, so many things that's going on in this book, and I really enjoy having the answer for those questions that we've been speculating for months, and finally we get some answer and more. So yes, all the information that we get in the book is the best part for me.
Yeah. Oh my God, so much. And this is like really teasing for a non-spoiler segment of a show where we're like, you're going to get loads of information. Just go and read it and come back so we can talk spoilers. We talked about this a little bit already, but how do you think the overall pace of the book was compared to the others in the series?
Oh gosh, was intense. From the first chapters was non-stop. I felt that more of the part of the book was just non-stop, like one thing after another one after another one, and it was something going on. I was like, my gosh, I need a break at some point. So I was feeling that I need it because it's just too much going on.
Not too much, but
yeah. But yeah, you feel that like another break. I need like stone. I need like something to just everyone chill, relax, calm down. What's going on now? But yeah, the pace that's built from the beginning is just insane. At least for my point of view.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I like the description you gave earlier about how threshing got you hooked. So that was chapter 16 in Fourth Wing. It was good. Before that, I was already into it. Like as soon as we crossed the parapet, I was like, yes, this is the book for me. But threshing was when I couldn't put it down. And Iron Flame, same as you, kind of part two. I like part one. I like everything about the series. Obviously, we have a podcast about it. But part two was when I couldn't put it down. Onyx Storm, immediately couldn't put it down, apart from the same as you, when I really needed to. So I read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame very quickly. This book is shorter than Iron Flame. It took me far longer to read. And I don't know why. I had a solid read through, so I had booked time off work to read this. I didn't move from my sofa, save to pick the children up from school. I guess it was the evenings where we were with the children where we did put it down and we had a good break from it. But solid days reading, like normally how I would be solid days working. And I felt like I'd run a marathon. I honestly felt like I was out of breath in a lot of places and like genuinely did need a break. So much happens, but it's so... And normally when so much is happening, you whiz through it and you read it really quickly. But I had the opposite effect. It just slowed me down and I was like, right, I've got to understand this. I need to read this slowly. I need to slow down. I need to read that bit again. And there were several chapters where I just read them again at the same time because I was like, wait, I think I missed something. And that's how I really like to read a book. I like to make sure I understand what's going on before I get to the next bit.
Yes.
So yeah, it's taken a while to get through, but the pace is so fast, especially a big chunk in the middle where you just get access to information, access to more information, access to more information. And yeah, it's fast. I loved it though. I don't know if you can tell.
Okay. How did the world building evolve in Onyx Storm for you?
Just expanded the world tenfold, didn't it?
Yes.
Some of the epigraphs as well that we get from various different books and things, definite and missives and correspondence between people. Yeah, we have blown the borders of the world we knew apart, and I can't even get my head around all of it yet. And there's still places that were mentioned in this book, but we didn't get to go to. So there's also...
There's still more places to go.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
so much scope for book 4 and book 5 to expand the world even further, which is... That could have been the risk with Onyx Storm, is that it expanded so quickly, so thoroughly, that you've got nowhere else to go. But she still left it wide open for books 4 and 5 to explore
Yes.
the borders of the world even further.
So we haven't seen the full continent yet, but we have seen so many places already, and we've been knowing like so much world building that it's just mind blown.
Yeah, exactly. Did you feel like there was more world building in this one, or do you feel like it just, like how they create the wards and then they expand them and they expand them, and it's not just geographically speaking, it's like characters, dragon secrets, like all the stuff that we get access to. Did you feel like it was more or less than the other books?
Oh, definitely much more. So we can see so much stuff going on, and the thing that I like as well is that we haven't seen all. There's still so much to see.
Yeah, and learn.
Yes.
What emotions did you go through while reading? This is a funny one because we did film some of the parts that we were recording. I am a very emotional reader. I did not throw my book across the room, but there was a few times where I wanted to. JC doesn't react at all. So we quickly worked out that there's not much point in recording your emotions. But did you feel on the inside? What emotions did you feel on the inside?
Yes, there was some parts. There was a massive contrast between us. But yes, I felt a little bit like, oh no, something really bad is going to happen now. Part of me was like the logical, like, no, it can't be because this. So I had like really logical part. But I had to confess the emotion that I feel more reading this book was like happy. Like there was so many like comedy part or so much humor. A lot of other chapters, you're just laughing with all the stuff that's going on. So I was expecting there are gonna be much suffering. That it will be like pretty dark or pretty non-stop worrying or the kind of stuff. But for me, the biggest emotion for me was just laughing and feeling happy while I was with these guys.
Same. So I laughed, I cried, I shouted at Rebecca Yarros, I was heartbroken, I had my heart fixed back together, I was heartbroken again. I was confused. It was like all the emotions that you can possibly imagine I went through reading this book. It was like a roller coaster. But I agree with you overwhelmingly. I think if you tally up how many times I cried versus how many times I laughed a lot more than I cried.
Yes.
And there are some excellent character moments. We get more dragon sass. We get more squad clowning around. We get just a lot of humour. And even in the tragic moments, you still get some humour. And I think it shows just how great the writing is, that she can hold us together with humour.
Yes. So how do you feel Onyx Storm set the stage for the next book?
I think I've got some pretty good theories already about what's going to happen in the next book. I mean, we'll get to it later in the spoiler section of how much we got wrong, but I still think that this has been a bit of a transitional book to get us to the next part, and I think we will just get even more answers in the next one. It set up some things, some artifacts, some objects, and some characters that we know we need to learn more about. So hopefully we'll get those in the next book. I guess also there's some things that we didn't get answers to that I think should appear in the next book. So I think it's just blasted, like I said, just blasted the world wide open for the fourth book.
Yes.
How about you?
From my point of view, I see the full series like a big puzzle. So with this third book, we had so many pieces to put in this big puzzle. So I think for book 4 and 5, we might not get many more because in these books, the full story start to finish in the shape. So I don't think we'll get that much information in book 4. It will be more related in the plot of the book. And some of the information that we get is narrowing. So I think we're not going to have these massive options that you're going to be wondering, oh, could be this and this and this and this. It's going to be one or the other one. So I think we narrow these clues about everything that's going on in this story.
Yeah, we're focusing in a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Would you recommend Onyx Storm?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I would recommend read first Fourth Wind if you haven't know about the story. Then Iron Flame, and then definitely go for Onyx Storm.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything about, because I have read series before where I really liked the first one, and then I haven't liked the second one. But I'm hopeful that the third one is going to bring it back for that series. So when I recommend that first book now, I'm like, oh, but I didn't really enjoy the second one, but I'm sure the third one's going to be great when it comes out. So there's a few series I can think of that's happened for. But this one has just made me even more, like, I'm going to be I was bad before with getting people to read Fourth Wing, just like you. And now I'm going to be even worse. I'm going to be like, the third one's amazing. And even with that ending, like the big shock and surprise and the cliffhanger we're going to have to wait for, that is not a spoiler. It's quite clear we're going to end up on a cliffhanger. I think we can make it through. I think we can make it to the next one.
Next question. What are you most looking forward to deep diving, keeping the answer spoiler free, of course?
Oh my god, so much. I don't know if I can keep this spoiler free. Learning more about the marked ones. Oh, we've got a big list of stuff that we can't wait to deep dive in the spoiler section. So how about you? Can you keep it spoiler free?
I think there was a few things that we got right. And I think from the thing that we got right, we can go even deeper to bring more theories, more unhinged theories. That's our specialization. So that's the part that I'm looking for, like just coming with these theories that we got now and share it with the people.
Yeah. I thought it would be quite good to explore some of the themes of the book in a non-spoilerish way. And the key themes, I've picked 5 key themes, and I'm just going to go through them and just see if you think that, yes, they're a key theme, or like kind of how you feel about those things in this book, but in a spoiler-free way. So war, I've kind of already talked about the fact that it's quite clear how close Rebecca Yarros has been to war and the impact that has on people. So war is obviously quite a strong theme throughout the book.
Yes.
Did you have anything else to add on war?
It's definitely about how you need to face war and how some people have different point of view about how to react or how to come with a solution. So I think you see this contrast during the book, that how people think about war, and you have different point of views.
Depending on what side you're on.
Yes, exactly. So it's not like there's a potential answer for that. It just depends on where you are. You will see it from one way or the another one.
Yeah, and it builds on the same theme throughout Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, doesn't it? Around Navarre's position in the war and the rebellion, and yeah, I think it does grow that. But I was just an author does a lot of research in writing a book. You know that from writing your own book. But very rarely do you get an author who conveys such a deep understanding of something, and that can't be given through research. And I really genuinely feel that is through Rebecca's life experiences. It just makes it really raw, really fresh, and quite painful in places. So love, obviously a key theme of a romance book.
Romantic book, yes.
What is
There's love there.
at heart a romance book?
But it's not just like the typical love between a couple, because I think in this book as well, there's a little bit more like other kind of love that you will see as well. So it's love is a really good part of this book as well.
Yeah, and that moves on to the next one, friendship.
Yes.
And I think that there's two, friendship and trust, and I would put those two together, and we really explore what that means for our characters throughout Onyx Storm. And again, these are not new themes. They're not themes that have been brought into Onyx Storm. They just expand the themes that have already been so prevalent in the rest. So did you have anything else to say on friendship and trust?
It's a big part of the story and something that we have seen in previous book as well, Iron Flame. The friendship make a big difference as well. So it's important in Onyx Storm as well. So that's something that is a key as well.
And the last one I would say, and again, this isn't a new theme, but it is a building on the theme, particularly I think in Iron Flame, where we get the division of the War College. Some go to Erasure, some stay at Basgaeth. And you've got a big class. When Devera takes over the history lesson, she starts to talk about cultural differences and what you lose by unification of Navarre all those years ago. Cultural differences is something that we go even deeper into in Onyx Storm. And that is such an interesting perspective. I feel like it builds even more on not just the cultural differences geographically, but the type of person you are and what you value. And if you think about Basgaeth and the quadrants, you've got the scribes, you've got the healers, you've got the riders, and you've got the infantry, and they have cultural differences as well. Just like if you work for a particular organization or company, you have a company culture. And I know that type of language annoys some people, but you do. We have a culture in our house, we have a culture in our work, it stems on kind of your core values and who you are. And we see that, I think, not necessarily between the quadrants, but between people who are very different and act differently, and what is right and what is wrong in a particular person's view is very different to what is right and what is wrong in somebody else's point of view.
Yes, completely agree with this. And it's something that you will see in this book, so many cultures, so many differences, and it's something I wasn't expecting to see. This like so many, but it's coming from Rebecca Yarros, and Rebecca Yarros trying to include everyone, everything, so it shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's a really inclusive set of books. But yeah, I think the other interesting thing is there's so much culture that we're yet to see as well. And oh my god, so those are the 5 themes that I picked out. Do you have any others that you think I might have missed?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything, or at least the important ones.
Yeah.
So that is left you with the last question. How do you think we did with our theories and predictions?
A mixed bag, really. I think there's loads we got right, loads we got semi-right, but there was an awful lot we got like the things that we got right and the things that we got semi-right were kind of the ones where I was like, I think this is going to happen, and this is my theory, but it might be wrong. The ones that I got wrong are the ones that I was like, I am dying on this hill. This has to be right. So it was quite weird for me because I was sure a lot of things were going to happen and they weren't. And then I was unsure, but I was leaning in a lot of directions, and those are the ones that came true. Without going into details, that's generally, I think we did quite well.
Yes, I'm thinking the same. There was a lot of things that for me was maybe, yes, it's obvious it's going to happen. Some of them, yes, exactly like that. Other things, I was like, what? Where did this come from?
Yeah,
I feel weird, yes. But I think overall, I think we did pretty good. With the stuff. Obviously, there was something that were completely wrong, but overall, I think we did good. We more stuff that we thought it would happen, and then we somehow, or exactly, or kind of like that.
Yeah, the problem we have is that like 1 week I'll have this theory that I'm absolutely sure of, and then the next week I'll be like, I changed my mind, I've got this new theory, and then I'll be like, oh, I've changed my mind again. I think it's back to the original one. So if you say so many theories, you're bound to get some right, and I think we've probably fallen into that category a little bit.
Okay, so maybe it's time now to go to the danger zone.
Yes. So just this is the first warning. We will give you several before we start going into the spoiler area. But from this point on, you are no longer safe away from spoilers. So please, please, please switch off. Go and read the book and then come back when you're finished.
But if you want to stick around for the spoiler-filled section of the show, you can expect unfiltered reactions, character shocks, and of course, what we are known for, some new theories.
We have only read this once and relatively quickly. I was just saying how long it took me, but relatively quickly. We are very likely to get things wrong in this next discussion. Join our Discord and let us know anything we messed up in the next section. We are totally open to corrections, and we definitely will reread. Jumping back into our final predictions from last week then.
Okay, so the first question that we had in the previous episode, which rider will die in Onyx Storm? So, prediction was Redok, and this one for both of us, that he was the one that he will die.
We were sure, weren't we?
Yes, but we failed.
Yeah, but that's also a win because he didn't die. So I will take that loss, like, completely. Riddick did grow. Like, I was worried Riddick would die because why would he be the one that Violet takes? Like, I'm glad she did. But I was like, he's going for a reason. He's going to die. He's going to die. He's going with her. He's going to die. And luckily he made it through.
Yes, and to be honest, by the end of the book, I was like, oh, maybe they're going to make it and all of them, they're going to graduate. But I was thinking as well, maybe that's what Rebecca Yarros wants, like you feeling hope. And then as book, boom, didn't make it. But Redok, yes, by the end of Onyx Storm,
he is still alive.
He's still alive. And he said himself.
Yeah, he's not a venom.
Yes, but also there was actually some riders that they die, and we weren't expecting those ones. We didn't see them coming.
I can only think of one, but I'm confused about whether one is still alive. Quinn.
Yes, so Queen, she died. By the end of Imogen point of view, we know this.
I think it was really hard to read that. I cried. I actually, unfortunately, saw a spoiler like a couple of hours before I read that bit. Stupidly, my fault. I knew it was coming, but it was still really sad. And I think the reason it was sad was because it was told from Imogen's point of view. If it had been told from Violet's point of view, it would have been sad. Of course it would have been. But
it won't affect you that much.
Quinn is I think the only person that Imogen really trusts.
Well, she said that's the only person that she loves.
Yeah.
So it's not just best friend, she was like a big part of her life.
Yeah, and oh my God, when it started to say that her mom and her sister would look after her. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. That was very, very, very sad. Thank you very much for nothing, Rebecca Yarros. No, it needs to happen because war is sad. People die in war. And
then you can't expect that always a happy ending for everyone in a war. There's always going to be people who will die.
It makes me worry for Imogen's character arc.
The other one that is not clear is Panchak.
His dragon died, didn't he? But we don't know if he's died. Do we know? Maybe we need to read it again. Definitely.
Yeah, it's something complicated because it was kind of like a ritual for initiative from Dragon Rider to Fall Venom. So I don't know if the general, it was actually treating Panchak to kill him or was just pushing her to not be a rider anymore.
Did anyone else die that we missed? Riders
that we know and we care? No.
Well, there were some that we know and we don't care, or a Binehaven. Her death was like pretty gruesome and I was like, ew, ugh. Oh, and then I went, oh well. I think I've got that on camera. I'm like, oh well. And then Grady and his incompetent ass getting set on fire. The next question we had was which flyer will die in Onyx Storm? I think we're just starting with all the ones that we filled out. Prediction, I was like, Marin, 100%.
Yeah.
Yay, Marin's
100% wrong.
You said Serena.
Also yes, wrong.
Wrong. We didn't see her at all, though, did we? We just heard about her.
I'm not sure if there was a part when she was somewhere or Kat thought that she saw her, but yeah, no, definitely no we dialogues or talking with anybody. So it was pretty much out of the full story. But she's still alive.
She's still alive.
As we know by the
she's
end, yes.
One step closer to the Poromish throne as well. The actual one who died was Traeger.
Yes, and if that wasn't like tragically enough, Trigger was the one who took Kat out of the Satan obsession.
I know.
And that's the thing that makes it so tragically.
I know, but the way he dies is so good.
Oh my gosh, that was like, I was like in the place of those guys, and we were like, this would be like really hard if you were in that position.
Yeah, not to react and just to say thank you. Oh my God. But the way he died was exceptional. Like the fact that you don't know what you're going to get from Zanal. You might get something good, you might get something bad, you might get something weird. Like a kitten. Oh, how much do we like Drake, by the way? Drake and Mira. Anyway, we'll get to that. Drake got a little kitten. So
broccoli.
Broccoli, yeah. And he called her broccoli just to annoy Mira.
So next question. Which dragon will die in Onyx Storm?
Yeah,
so the
Atron's
prediction
still
was
alive.
Atron. Yeah, both of us said that Rhaegar will die, so obviously Atron as well. But no, he wasn't the one who died. But for a couple of minutes, we thought that we lost 10.
Oh my goodness. Chapter 10 was a journey.
Yes. So I think this is the part where we had this massive contrast because you were like crying your eyes.
I was like, no.
Yes. And for me, it was like, it can't be. All the time I was reading.
That is what my head was saying.
Yes. So for me, it was like, it's too early for this. It's like I can't believe that she's going to get rid of a main character of the full story in chapter 10. So that was like my writer brain telling me. And then when I go through all of that and then we're just waking out like, yeah, of course I'm alive. Like, were you like whinging about? Like, yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
Well, so far we know the dragons that are like important was Panchex, the one who dies.
Yeah.
We don't know any other dragons that we can put name or.
No, I felt like Andana had died when she just decided to up and leave and go. But yeah, I think that was interesting though, just about that. I just want to say this now, even though it's not to do with the question. Andana left and Violet still had her second signet. Does that mean if Jack manifested or if Panchek manifested, whatever it was that he manifested, and we've got a theory about that already, does that mean that when the dragon dies, they can still do it? I think it does, because you've manifested the signet. So wherever you're taking the power from, you either take it from the ground or you take it from the dragon, it's still there.
You still your signet. Yeah, I think the same.
So correct us. Like, are there any other dragons that we majorly missed apart from Auras and Grady's, that we missed that died?
We know there was some dragons that were dead by the end of the battle, but again, it's not somebody that we think is like had a massive character arc or somebody really important in the story. Next question.
Dane, good or bad? We predicted good.
Yes, and I mean, by the end of the book, he's still with the Resistance. He's still a important character, and he's still good. That's going to say
right from the beginning, when he like defended them against Aura Binehaven. I said to you, "Oh, so we like Dane now." I think we've got that reaction on camera. Like, okay, we like Dane in this book. I do still think he's good. There is a sus conversation with Sloane at the end when Sloane is siphoning the power from Dane to Brennan to mend Mira. Oh my God, I thought she died then. And I was like, why did I get spoiled on Quinn's death and not Mira's death? And I thought Mira would die in this one. She nearly did.
For me, my first thought, Brennan is dead, so I can't die.
But when you slit someone's throat, you die very quickly. Not that I've got any kind of first-hand experience. I just see in films, they're like, gone.
Yeah.
She was lucky. Malak was on her side. And there's a reason for that. But Sloane says, how can someone like you have this much power, have access to this much power? And he's like, well, lucky for Mira, I do. And there's this really weird conversation that makes it seem like Dane has way more power than he should have. I have thoughts about this. Do we think he's Venom? There's two things. Like, he could be Venom. I'm leaning that he's not, but this is another one where I know I could completely be wrong. And it could be another one of these situations where if Violet had just trusted Dane, she would have got the answer a lot sooner. You know how, like, if she just trusted her friends in Iron Flame, they would have found the secret vault, King Tauri's secret vault, sooner because Riddick knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
If she just asked Dane, or she just trusted Dane with the information, and there's several times where Aiden said, what about Dane? And Violet says, no, we can't trust him with this. And Riddick says, no, I'm with Violet on this. Yes. It's too much. If they had just told him, does he know the way to control it? Does he have this control? Brennan clearly doesn't, because Brennan thinks there's no way to cure him or slow it down, and he wants to try and mend the piece of earth outside Basgiath and etc. So that to me makes it me think that Brennan's rune isn't a nicotine patch, which is what we thought. But anyway, I'm getting so deep into this already. Is it one of those situations where Violet's going to find out about Dane, and if she had only trusted him sooner, they could have stopped the end of Onyx Storm from happening? But the other thing is, I still have this feeling that Atos is doing something shady with experimenting with Venom and how you can make super soldiers. And is Dane being given this super soldier experiment, and everyone suspects Second Wing, where Dane came from? Is there something where they're trying to develop super soldiers? Mm-hmm. And that is why Dane has access to so much power. We do have the link that Kath has rotten breath, so that makes me maybe lean to the Venom one. But I don't think he's Venom. He's not got red rings around his eyes, so he's got some way of controlling it. Mm-hmm. So cool, though. Just that tiny line. We're going to spiral over that for well over a year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, I remember there was a little bit thing that I thought was suspicious, and all that is saying. All that thing was, I think, Sloane saying something about there's no marks on Brennan's neck or...
Violet. Did she say there's no mark? So she thinks it's because of the channeling.
Yeah, something. But the whole thing is weird, and something that I can't wait to start doing a deep dive and start dissecting every single line. Next question, Nowlin. Dead or alive? You say alive. I think I say alive as well. And the answer is we still don't know.
We still don't know. We got another couple of we do not speak about the one who came before.
Yes, but it's just getting so clear that he's still around. He's a Venom. He is the one controlling Brennan. I still not believe in that Brennan is just completely himself. Because we know that when you have a master, you can't do anything against the master. So you have a limited or free will. So you can do whatever you want until your master tells you the opposite, and then you can't say anything else. So I think maybe Nolan is playing with Brennan, and he's just using it in certain parts when he needed it.
That's interesting. I didn't read it like that. I read it like the only thing you can't do to your sage or the person that converted you is kill them, because they're your family. You can't kill them.
Because I think there's a reason that Satan stopped fighting against all the ones, and he's just there with Brewin, I think is the name of the sage. Brewin. And it's because he called him. So he maybe called him and he can't do anything else. So he stopped fighting and he just go there because he's calling. So it's this massive bond that he just can do whatever he wants.
That is so interesting, because I think he was there and he didn't stop fighting. So because he sent that to kill all the wyvern.
Yeah, but that's when Sagael was about to die. And then he said, no, the only way that I can actually do something is channel completely, get more powerful, and save Sagael.
He did it again for love.
Yeah, this time was Sagael not just for. And he said that Saki was the first one to choose me, and choose me with everything that I am, the good, the bad. So he's like, not going to allow this guy putting my dragon down and going to kill it. So he do it again. Oh well.
But yeah, we still don't know. We've still got so much to speculate about.
2 more books to go to find out.
And there is no evidence that he's not Malak. So I'm going to carry on with that for a little while.
Yes.
No, I do. I've got theories about Malak to come. Who will be the cause of the family betrayal? Prediction, you said Brennan. I said Brennan Bodhi. I think I was more leaning to Bodhi. I think I eventually committed to Bodhi. You'll have to play it back to me to remind me. Actually, we still don't really know, but I am sure Bodhi is the one that went Venom at the end. It's still a little bit unanswered, and he did seem pretty good in this book, but there's been a lot of chat in our Discord and on Instagram about how not everyone is as certain as me that it was Bodhi that turned Venom. I genuinely think it was, because I'm going to set out my evidence and then you can tell me who you think turned Venom. But Bodhi, throughout the book, we had more references to the fact that he wasn't quite as good as Xaden. He was a step behind. Xaden was trying to make him... He was obviously Duke Professor Xaden, who's got lots of titles in this book, became the Duke of Tyrrendor. That meant Bodhi was his only living relative, so Bodhi had to be protected to some extent. Bodhi was not happy about this. He kept pushing the boundaries and he kept shouting back at Xaden. He doesn't want to be a duke. He doesn't want to be in that position.
He's a rider.
He's a rider. Yeah. So there was also a moment where Violet and Bodhi were fighting together, and Theophany, silver-haired Venom, was using her storm-wielding powers, Signet, and Bodhi could not counter it. That for me was the trigger for Bodhi, where he was like, if I channel, I will have enough power to counter their signets. He was like, again, he's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. Yeah. And he wants to be better. He's competitive. And there was lots of things where, like, you're just not quite as good as your cousin. And then we see him in the final battle, crouching with his hand on the ground. That, for me, I was like, shit, he's channeling. I thought it was obvious. I thought it happened on the page. But then afterwards, we got into some conversations where some people don't think it was Bodhi and don't think it was so obvious. And I was like, absolutely shocked. I was like, what about Bodhi, though? He turned Venom. And people were like, did he? I thought it was Garrick. So, yeah, go Garrick. For it. You thought it was Garrick?
No, I never saw what's Garrick or Venom.
Oh, you thought Imogen?
I thought there was something going on with Imogen. So that's why I thought when you were saying who you think turned Venom. So I was like, what? There's a Venom here between the group. When I was reading, so I thought, must be Imogen, because there's a line, the Queen, in the last word, she said that you need to tell to everyone. So I thought, maybe this is what you mean. There's a Venom in the group. So I thought it was Imogen. But then when you told me, no, talking about Bodhi, like, what? Bodhi? In one moment. And then, yeah, you told me exactly this. And I, oh, okay. So I'm not saying that, no, it can't be, because, yeah, like you say, all the stuff is there. Because I think in the part when he was trying to contract Tiffany's signet, he couldn't do it, and Violet said, you can't do it because she's channeling from the ground, and the signet from Bodhi is like from the dragons, so it's like completely different sources. So that could be another way to tell to Bodhi, if you want to contract that signal of the Venom, you need to channel from the ground.
Yeah.
You need to change the source.
Yeah, and we know his dragon was in trouble at the end. Yes. But so the reason that people think it's Garrick, I understand as well. They said he was in trouble at the end. He was burning out and he was having to do all this distance wielding, and he just needed more power to carry on. I get that. But the other reason I think it's Bodhi is because Violet comes back as essentially the Duchess of Tyrrendor. We know that Xaden wanted to marry her all the way through. We know there was loads of stuff where he kept talking about it. But the real reason, the only way he could see, because he knew Bodhi had channeled, the only way he could see to keep control of Tyrrendor would be if his wife was in control of Tyrrendor. and he married her, she became the Duchess of Tyrrendor. Otherwise, it would just go to Bodhi. Bodhi was not there at the end. Neither was Garrick.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole like line of succession, to me,
Yes.
makes more sense that it would be Bodhi that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But let us spiral between now and book 4, and I might change my mind by then. I think the thing is, now I'm starting to question it, because I'm like, what did I miss about Garrick? So when I read back again, I will read with a view that it's Garrick that's...
Yeah, I didn't see it either, because by the end, when the last time that Garrick used the signet is to take Imogen and Queen's body back to the others, and then he leaves walking because he can't do it anymore. So he just leaves. Imogen goes behind. He starts to see like all what's going on, and that's it. That's the last reference from Garrick. So he was tired. He stopped doing it because he knows that I can't do it anymore. I'm just too tired. I need to just go back. And then if something happened, I had no energy to do it just once. So he was thinking, I'm going walking there or somehow to fight. And then if I had to leave, I used it to go back. So I had like one ticket. That's why I don't get it. In which part people think that he turned into a venom, or any reference to say that, well, yeah, he was struggling. Yeah, he was conscious and he was planning how to play along with that.
Yeah, and I also think that like Garrick was way more cautious of Xaden in this book. He was very protective of Violet, Garrick was.
Oh, yes.
And I think the difference between Garrick and Bodhi is that Garrick would look at Xaden and be like, he's losing it. Bodhi would look at Xaden and be like, oh, he can do everything. He's even controlling the fact that he's venom. He's not letting that take over. He wasn't allowed to go on the mission. He wasn't like, it's just a jealousy thing. And if he thinks that Xaden is in control of his venom, why would he think that he wouldn't be able to control it? So he's like, well, I'm going to do it. It'll just be the same as Xaden. There's so much. Can we, like, before we move on to the next question, like, just quickly touch on Imogen? Because I've got a theory here where Imogen's clearly hiding something with her hair. We've said that all along.
Yes.
Quinn knew what that secret was, and that's where I thought that comment was from Quinn that said, you have to tell the others.
Yes.
We know now that the silver hair is not to do with venom. You don't get silver hair by being a venom. We know now that that is linked to being touched by Dune, the goddess.
Yes.
Or being touched by God. Like, we don't know because we haven't met anybody else that's touched by God. But it does seem to be something linked to Dune, because obviously everybody on the island, I am not going to even attempt to remember the name of that island. But and also in the temple that's in Erasure, the hair is linked to that.
Yes.
So do we think that Imogen has also been touched by a god, almost dedicated, or has been dedicated and is going against it, like Theophany, and she's covering that up? She maybe, if she's fully dedicated and she's gone against it because she's not serving Dune in the temple, she might not be able to step foot in a temple, just like Theophany wouldn't have been able to. Do we think it's to do with that? I do. I don't know what you think.
Yes, I definitely think that if Imogen doesn't have the pink hair, she will have silver hair, completely full silver. The only thing that I'm not sure, because we haven't seen it yet, is if the silver hair is just related directly to Dune, or is related to gods. So I don't know if maybe she is dedicated to Dune. Something happened that maybe she went against, or somebody took her out of the temple, or something happened that she's not there. So she's kind of like Tiffany. Or there's maybe she's dedicated to another god, and all the people who are being dedicated to gods have silver hair somehow.
Or gold hair, or like, but you don't have anyone else. Yeah, I think
No,
there's
so
something.
it's like silver hair and maybe godhood, like being touched by a god, but you don't know exactly which one. So maybe that's why the people from Dune, they have tattoos on the forehead to make it clear that they are there for Dune.
Yeah.
But maybe people from, I don't know, Malek because we haven't seen it like the temple or the island when it's dedicated to Malek. Maybe they just have
They
silver
didn't get
head.
there, did they? I can't wait to get to that
Yes.
one.
So I think if Imogen, maybe we'll see her someday, the color of the hair just falls. It's gonna be silvered.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think as well, like I'm so excited to get into the Malek connection because Violet is not only linked to Dune, but there is that one epigraph, and I'm going to read it because I think it's worth it. A gift from one servant of Dune to another. I must warn you, only those touched by the gods should wield their wrath. I will pray to her that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who curries her favour. Her path is still not set. So will she choose Dune or will she choose Malek? Because it says, I will pray to her, capital H, which means she will pray to Dune, that Violet need not use this gift from Dune to avoid reacquainting herself, Violet, with the other who curries her favour. They only have said reacquainting when it's meeting Malek, or like the only other god that can be surely is Malek. And we've seen so many instances where she seems to be in control of how somebody dies or who dies. I can't wait. That's the epigraph of chapter 64, by the way. I can't wait to see what Violet's link with Malek is. And did Daddy Daxton try and dedicate her to more than one god? Did he first go to Dune and they said they touched her but they didn't complete the dedication? Did they not complete the dedication because they found out she was already dedicated to Malek? Or did they not complete the dedication because they rejected her, or that something happened and then he was like, shit, where do I go now? I go to Malek. There's something, isn't there, where her path's not set because she's half dedicated to either Dune or Malek. War and death, like dedicate her to Zanal or something. I know that he like did the dirty on Traeger, but like dedicate her to a good one. Definitely not Hedion. Sorry, we went way off track there, but really, really loved that one.
Yes. So next question: will there be a Seidan POV chapter? So I think you say no.
No, I said yes, but they will add it.
Added after. Okay.
No, I said yes, but because there isn't I need to remember whether I actually did say this, but what I thought was yes, but because they didn't have Teddy Hamilton's name on there, that they would add his name after launch date.
Yeah. I say yes, but the only reason I say yes was because pretty much in every book we had like a certain point of view. So I thought, I don't think she will change the trend because people love Satan's point of view. So why not give it to the people what they want? And the answer is yes. And not just Satan's point of view. We have a few more people point of view in this book as well.
Rhee and Imogen. Like, I didn't get a lot from Rhee's chapter. I love hearing other people's bonds with their dragons. It was quite a clever way of seeing, because there were different points, and the whole point of that end battle was that Violet had one objective and she was not allowed to worry about the civilians that were climbing the Madaro Pass.
And I mean, you want to know what's going on with the others.
Yeah. So, and Rhee was obviously worried about Violet, and you'd already seen her previously in the book reject or run away from her objective to save Violet. So, yeah, I thought it was good, but I need to read it again, honestly. Imogen's like just so tragic. Imogen's second signet, we'll get into this afterwards, but Imogen's second signet makes me feel sad again. Like wiping memories because she's got tragedy and trauma in her past that she needs to get rid of. Turning things to stone makes me think like hardness and having to protect yourself. And just, we heard a bit about her mom and her sister. We heard about her love of Quinn. Just tragic. Like, I feel so sorry for Imogen. But what I will say is that I think now I am not going to question, I say I think because I changed my mind, but I'm not going to question Imogen's loyalty from now on. I think she's on the right side, and she's not doing, I think she could be doing her own thing, like with this dedication thing, but I don't think she's doing something against the revolution.
I always thought that she was like another rebel, but I never thought that she would be against Satan or all the people. I thought she was doing her own dodgy stuff for some reasons. I thought could be because of that, because the family and the way they all there die. But yeah, I think after this book become questions Amazon loyalty because you see it pretty clear that she is with Zaydan and all the Mark ones. So next question.
Next one, are there more Seventh Den dragons? So our prediction, I predicted that yes, there were. You predicted that, though you said you hoped there weren't because you thought it might ruin the story. Do you still feel like, having found out that actually there are Seventh Den?
I'm still feeling like Andarna, she was for me like so special for me. I saw her like the last dragon, or if there's more seven, then she will be like the queen, or she will be like such important character. But then after we found out, yes, there's seven then dragons, and then after all the things that happened, I think that kind of took away a lot of importance or a lot of the character art from Andarna, from being maybe, yeah, like I thought, could be like from being a queen, from being an Asian dragon that's been there just to fight against the van, and she was just demoted to, she was an indicator of humanity, so nothing that special.
It.
For me, it was just like,
so I totally love it. Like, one, it was never Andana that was being tested; it was humanity. I think that is a really, really good storyline because I think they are ready for it, but I think Violet's ready for it. Violet and Zayden are ready for it, not Melgren. And so they're on their way to being ready for it. I genuinely think the reason Leothold? I can't remember all their names.
Leotas, I think, something like this.
Okay, the dragon with the same lineage of Vandana, the same den, came back was because he did think that Violet was, one, she didn't know that Andana was a baby, but that doesn't matter. They're still not in war. I think it's the fact that Zayden clearly was Venom at that time, and she wasn't looking to kill. That they want to live together. They want to love. They're in love, and it's kind of like, we don't want to fight. We want to kind of cure. We want to all live in harmony. And I think that they saw that in Violet. The others didn't. What I did think was interesting was how he described Andana as being part of his den.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the dragons that are on the continent, there is a red den, right? An orange den, a green den, a blue den, a brown den, and a black den.
All of them are the same between the den.
But it's the den. But it seems like the seventh den actually has multiple dens.
Sub-dens.
Yeah, maybe the others do.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more dens of black dragons, but the main hatching ground was Erasure, but maybe Tyrandor. Or also what I thought, sorry, I'm going off on one again. Also what I thought was super interesting was that there were dens all across the continent, not just in Navarre. So Gale, I think. So did we find out that the blue dragons, or did we find out the red dragons? Again, I'm going to have to...
The blue dragons. We found out where the hatchet ground were.
Dunes River.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily in Navarre. So there was some in Pormil and some potentially... I need to read it again and write it down.
I think we found out was about the weather, because Zagael, she preferred like more sunny weather, and then turns out, because originally hatching ground, so he explained what it was. And so we found out as well where before the blue hatchet ground was.
But we still don't know where the seventh den is.
No, that's still like a mystery island.
Is it a mystery island? They said they had a long flight. It could still be the Barrens.
Just that nobody can see it.
Yeah, but it could, because they had a long flight. They had to go back. They only met them on there because they heard. So I think we're supposed to think it is the island. Potentially it is the Malak Island. But that, to me, they weren't that far away from that. So they said they had a very long flight.
Yes.
It's further away, so we have to go even further to find the seventh den. And maybe Andana now has some answers, but she did come back pretty quickly. Maybe she didn't even make it.
Maybe never left.
Maybe she was like halfway there and thought, no, this is wrong. I'm in the wrong place. I need to go back for Violet. But we still don't know where the seventh den is.
Okay. Next question. We will see Daddy Sorangel research. So, prediction. You say, no, it will be stolen.
Yeah, I thought we'd go to where it was and then it would be missing.
Yes.
Genuinely thought it would be missing.
And I say, yes, we will find the ball. We won't be able to see it all. That's what I said. And actually, yes, we saw that. And we got so much information, like way much more than we were expecting. And kind of, we haven't seen the whole thing, isn't it? Because it's like, it starts from the desk. There used to be a little Sorangel. So they take like the first part from this. Violet opened it. It said that she needs to go to the Varelli Island, I think she has to go. She goes there. Then she passes
To the
another
bookshop.
test. Then get more books. And it's like it's sprayed everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that we're actually seeing the full research, but we get so much. And here's when we found out that, yes, Colonel Daxton, the one that we say, yeah, I had a feeling this one is Violet's dad. It's actually Asher Daxton. Then later on, we will make it as a Asher Sorangels.
Yeah, that was so cool. We thought that Colonel Daxton and his guide to the Scribe Quadrant, he was our number one suspect, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the one that we say, yes, this one looks like Daddy Sorangel.
Yeah.
Now we can't call it Daddy Sorangel anymore. Well, I guess we can, but now we know it's Asher Sorangel.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that we got so much from that. What I would have liked, and this is like me being super nitpicky, I really liked the password to get into the first one. I would have liked a bit more, like, could we have the riddles? Because I didn't get that at all. Like, I was thinking, did she know about Zayden? Did she? And it was like a 6-letter thing. So I was like, no, can't be that. Did he know about, like, all this other stuff? And I would never have guessed Aimsa, but I really liked having a go at it. So I would have liked the other passwords and just...
I got it was from not straight away when the riddle was like, what was your first love or something like this. So nobody knew. Where the obvious answer will be Lilith, but that will be too obvious and it will be wrong. And I think it's the chapter after that. I can't remember who says something about your dragon is like
but it could
something.
have been dragon. That was as close as I got. I was like, dragon.
Yeah, and then it was like, for me, I jumped like, oh yeah, that's answer. There's gonna be Lily Sorangel's first dragon. Well, only dragon, isn't it? So, yeah.
So I would have liked to have had the other passwords, basically. That's really, really nitpicky, but I really love a challenge. I love a quiz and a code breaking thing. And I would have liked that. Okay, so name a new place we will visit. I said the Isle Kingdom, so I'm going to sit here all smug. JC said the Barrens. Actually, so we went to the Isles, but not all of them. And I do think we're going to get to see Malak's Island next.
Yep, we still haven't go to the Barrens. That's still, at the moment, a mysterious land.
Yeah.
So, again, we just know there's nothing there because all the land was drained.
Yeah.
But,
we haven't been to the Barrens. We haven't been to the Vales. There's a few other places where we thought we would go. We haven't been to Lucerus or like some of the other provinces. We haven't been to Signeson. So there's loads of places we haven't been on the continent, but we certainly did a tour of the islands.
Next question. This one. What is Violet's second signet?
Oh my goodness. Right. So if anyone can see this card on the back, we had on the midnight release, we took a predictions card, like a big board, and it had the second signet final predictions, and we had some sticky dots and we made people vote for what they thought. So we had Truthsayer, Intrinsic, Amplifier, Distance Wielder, Necrocommunication, Precognition, or Other. Amplifier was the one that won, so that was the most popular, closely followed by Truthsayer and then Intrinsic. Everyone I talked to who said Intrinsic, they thought that she would be a more powerful Intrinsic than Zayden, kind of like reading thoughts and reading minds. Not one person told me that it could be Dreamwalker. Like, where was that? Nobody, like, I am pretty sure there'll be people that did suggest that, because I know that some people said that while she was sleeping next to Zayden, they were actually his dreams and she was reading his mind at the time. But Dreamwalker, for me, like, curveball, total curveball.
Yeah, for me that was completely unexpected. And you know that with the other books, when there's like some information that you're like just speculating until you finally get the answer and you are like, oh my God, of course, this makes so much sense. That how did I miss this? This now makes sense because of this, blah, blah, blah. With this one, I was like, what? I was
Yeah.
like, what? How? It's just like, where did this come from?
I wondered if she changed her mind.
I was thinking the same. I was like, because, you know, in this interview in London, she said that, yeah, I was pretty sure that everyone was getting it, but it's there in the book lots of times. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. And Iron Flame, there's just 3 dreams. 2 of them is clearly talking to Violet. It's just one that is not clear who is talking with. And then, yes, I can give you that. They're talking to Satan. But, and the 2 of them is talking to your lightning wielder. I've been waiting for ages for your power. And it's a lightning wielder. That is clearly talking to Violet. And the second one is when it said that you run to the wars or Ration, but still close. Yeah, that could be clear. It could be like talking to Satan. I give you that. But the other 2 is clearly talking to Violet.
I need to go back and read them again. I have to. I can't even comment on this without reading them again, with knowing that she's dream walking. I think if we go back and read them again, we might feel differently. So I'm going to reserve judgment on it. Go back and read Iron Flame. But I do, like, we can ask the listeners, like, are we going to give you half a point for saying intrinsic, or are we not?
Well, I say it would be like a type,
did say a
intrinsic.
type.
I said that it could be maybe she can tell like desires of people or what the people need or what they want, because I thought there was something going on between the thoughts from Satan and then some stuff from Sagel. So I knew it would be like a kind of intensive thing, but I never would put my money on dreams.
No. Like, if you did send me a message and say, like, well done, like, remind me and send me another one, because whoever guessed this, genius. And I genuinely feel like I wasn't worthy of the knowledge, as Angana said, because I was so sure she was a truth sayer.
I need to bring the salt and the ketchup for the microphone so you can eat it.
Is that what I said? I would eat the microphone if she's not a truth sayer. Oh dear. Right, next. Moving on. What is Garrick's signet?
Yeah, there's another one there.
Prediction. We are not very good at guessing signets, are we? Prediction. Sound seeker, communicate across distance was our kind of final guess. We weren't sure. What we were sure about was that he absolutely could not be a distance wielder, because Xaden said there has not been a distance wielder for centuries. And he also said he hasn't lied to Violet. And I was like, Xaden is not a liar. He is not going to lie to Violet. Turns out he's a liar.
Yeah.
Turns out he's a liar.
That was the error that we had in our estimations. We trust Satan. And he lied to us.
We were like, it's a plot hole. If he's a distance wielder, it's a plot hole. It's not a plot hole. It's a character flaw.
Yeah.
And it's one that we should absolutely have seen coming. Xaden, like, of all people. So, yeah, he's actually a distance wielder. He's also an air wielder, which is very underwhelming. So he's an air wielder and a distance wielder. Air wielders are useful with Venom because lift them up.
Lift it up, yeah.
We've got a whole load of deep dive to do on this one epigraph that says that the 6 most powerful signets have not lived together on the continent since the first 6.
Yes, there's like they appear for a reason, and I don't want to see that reason just because the 6 most powerfuls are here.
And that's why I don't think Garrick turned. Because I think the new Shadow Wielder, Lynx, which is awesome that we have to go into a total different thing on that as well. Yeah. He's now one of the 6. Xaden can't be. So if Garrick has turned, we need another distance wielder, and we haven't got one yet. Yeah. So that's another reason that I'm just thinking of that I don't think it's Garrick. But as we have demonstrated just now, we are totally wrong about a lot of things. So just remind me when the next one comes out what I said.
Yes. So, talking about signets again, what is Eric's signet?
So good.
So, the prediction from Sean was that he was our distance wielder. Yep. I said he was a type intensic. I think actually I said he will be like full intensic.
I can't remember what you said. Like, It feels like the pre-Onyx Storm Shan and the post-Onyx Storm Shan are different people, and I just can't remember what.
Yeah, but the answer is he is actually a precognition.
Precognition, yeah.
Yes, so we completely fail in this one.
How cool is this, though? And how long has he been doing it? I can't wait. One of my, the things I'm most excited about is to go back and read Iron Flame and work out if he was doing it before.
Yeah, I think maybe he was doing it from the moment when Lily Sorangel asked him, what is your signet? He knew that if maybe he says something that he can will or channel to the stone, they're going to put it doing that. They will waste time when actually the solution is just, or the only solution they had at that moment is Lily sacrifice herself, giving all the power, all the
He knew
energy.
it had to happen.
Yes.
I agree with you, and that's why I was panicking.
He says to Violet, I'm really sorry, but this was the only way or something like
yes.
this. So I think he saw the comment.
Oh, this is what's so good about these books. And again, this has been a while, and I haven't mentioned Harry Potter, but you read the end and then you go back and read the beginning, and it's totally different. It's there, it's right there. It could smack you in the face, but there's no way you would have guessed it. And it's stuff like this. Now we know how many times I did guess it. So I text my mum because she was ahead of me in the book, and I text her quite early on. I think Auric had said something, and I was like, I think Auric's signet is the same as Melgren's, but he knows how. He knows how things are won. And then I evolved that, and I was like, he can see the future. He knows what's going to happen. And we did suspect that this was a signet, didn't we? Because Jack had said, I'm not the one that thinks precognition is a thing in Kaori's class in chapter 8 of Fourth Wing.
Yes.
Because I'm getting a problem if I can remember when people say things. But anyway, so cool. And what else is he going to do, and how? My main question is, how is Rebecca Yarros going to wipe him out for a bit so he can't just win the war? Because this signet is extremely powerful, extremely useful. She needs to find some way of balancing him out. Do you know, Melgren's is powerful signet. She's found the marked ones to balance it out. How is she going to either wipe out Auric for a bit, or how is she going to stop him from just making this so easy? And that's what I'm so interested about.
That's something that we need to speculate later on when we go into our deep dives. But I think maybe he thinks, or he knows, that he will be maybe the next king. And that's one of the reasons that he joined the group, because he knew that Halden, this character that is here as well. He is not going to be a right king for all the things that need to happen. So maybe he knew that he needs to show to different islands, different cultures as the prince, because maybe everyone thinks that just Holden is just the only one, or they know there's another one, but they don't see it. So he needs to start to introduce himself more as a prince, and potentially he will be the next to the crown.
Auric's my new favourite character.
Yes.
After this, I'm so excited to deep dive Auric. The next question was something we hope comes back from previous books. We both said Liam's statues. We believe that they are runed.
Yes.
The statues didn't come back. I'm still hopeful that they will in one of the other ones. But Liam was not really mentioned.
We didn't see anything about Liam, pretty much.
But so many things did come back from. The research, the hair, so many things that we got answers for. So we weren't left wanting in that department.
Yes. The next question was General Benning, dead or alive? We both would say that yes, he is alive, and the actual is that yes, he is alive.
So what happened? Xaden knocked him into the ravine, thought he'd killed him. He floated off, and then he was fine.
I think that he just got knocked out by Xaden, but for me it wasn't that powerful to actually kill him.
I don't think he can kill him.
I say he's a general, and Xaden even just channeling from the ground is still not powerful enough to kill him. But once he's channeled, he turned into the apprentice, and he can't do anything against the master.
Can't kill him. Yeah.
So for me, yes, I remember that saying at some point for me, it sounds more like he only objected that Storm say that into a venom. Once he reached that, that's it. It's like I had nothing else to do here.
Skydive down the
Yeah,
canyon.
see you guys.
Down the
The
ravine.
words are coming back, so I'm leaving. I had a boat waiting for me. But yes, he is alive. He came back.
Yeah. Then the next question was General Venom, who was he? Prediction, Zayden's granddad. Both of us, I think, went for that. Or we weren't, there was a potential that it could have been one of the first 6. Actual, well, we still don't know, but we have a name, Berwin.
Yes, so it could be Berwin Ryerson, but the problem is I don't see it anymore. I start to think that it could be maybe no Zayden's relative. The thing is, we have no confirmation that this guy is Zayden's granddad. We don't know anything about him. We have more questions. There's something by the end, I don't know if people catch it, when he was threatening Panchek. Panchek was the one who said, I'm the only one who give you information about your son. Who is talking about?
I know.
Because if this guy, as we speculated before, could be Zayden's grandfather, doesn't mean that he's talking about who? Fan?
That would mean Panchek would need to have some kind of signet where he could communicate with dead people.
Yes, but he said that doesn't matter because I have someone else.
Does that mean he has someone else with the signet that allows him to do it, or does he mean he has another son? He says, I've got another one. Does he mean he's got another son, or does he mean... And I wonder if he was maybe talking about Jack, because they're talking about brothers, and maybe that's what they called them. Like, if you're the one that's brought somebody over to the Venom side, they're your Venom father, and they're your Venom son.
Mm-hmm.
And because Jack does say, I guess we're brothers now, and whether he means I'm the only one that means you can have access to your son, whether he's talking about Jack, and then he's like, I've got someone else who can, because he's got the Rostat chest, doesn't he? So it might be Zayden that can give him. I don't know whether it's that or whether it's something that Panchek. Let's get into it when we deep dive, because there's so many thoughts about Panchek. The other thing I wanted to say about Zayden's granddad is that I need to read that whole part again and look at how he reacts to Sigale, because if it is Zayden's granddad was bonded to Sigale. So trapping Sigale and all of that, we need to read it again with the fact that there must be some dynamic there. If it is his granddad, what is that dynamic with Sigale?
Yes, because Sigale wasn't like talking that much about the venom or saying any reference. She was more concerned about Zayden turning into a venom because of her. But again,
there was nothing, was there? There
No.
wasn't any clues that it was granddad. Yeah, but maybe there were, and maybe we missed them. Let's read them again.
Yep. So next
next
question.
question.
So what is Brennan's rune? So the predictions, Sean said it was a nicotine patch, and I say it was a reanimation rune. Actually, we still don't know what it is. We saw it at some point when he was having a discussion with Mira, and Violet saw it again. But we still don't know what it's all about.
I think I no longer think it's a nicotine patch. The main evidence for that is that Brennan knows that Zayden is Venom. If he had some way of controlling it, he would have shared that with him at that point. So I don't think that is it. I wonder if it's a communication rune or something else. I don't know, but we still don't really know. There was that scene when he was mending Mira where Violet says, weird, he hasn't got the same rune on his neck. And it was like she assumed that Naelin had held his hand and channeled or something, but Sloane had her hand on his neck. She assumed it was something to do with the siphoning. So Violet was wrong about it, but I need to read it again. I don't know how many times I said that in this episode, but there's something there. And I think by the time we get to the deep dives, we will have some theories on this, like some expanded theories on that rune.
Yeah, I still thinking that it's more about a resurrector thing. So he's technically like a wyvern.
Yeah.
So I mean, the names of the dragon, they means like body, and the name that he chose as well, that he's being resurrected. So I think it's Rebecca giving us some hints that he died, but he was brought back to life. We know how wyverns exist. They make like with an onyx stone, make a rune, and from that they make the wyvern. So I'm thinking that rune in the hand, it was made by Narlin, that he knew about runes because potentially it could be a Tyrish as well.
Yeah.
And then he just do that to bring Brennan back to life. But we don't know.
We did find out that Daddy Sorengel, Ashton, is not Tyrish. We suspected he might be Tyrish, didn't we? But
Yes.
he is from Lucerys,
Yeah,
like
sure.
Sawyer. Will Xaden be cured by the end? Both of our predictions was no, he was going to get worse.
And the actual was the Hiccup Wars.
But he did stick around during this book a lot longer than I thought he would. I thought Rebecca Yarros was really clever in like how she sent him away and he came back and how they were together for some of it, but not together for a lot of it. Yeah, he stuck around way longer. And she has said in the past, there is no book without Xaden. So there isn't a story without Xaden. He will come back. I think we might have maybe part 1 of the next book where he's not, and but there will be something. There's no story without him.
I think maybe in the next book, maybe it's gonna be like the split between Violet's point of view, Satan's point of view, because I think they're gonna be apart, and you want to know what's going on. So maybe it's gonna be between Rebecca Soler and Terry Hamilton, and it will jump in from one to another one. So we will see Satan be like a Venom apprentice or into the Venom world.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rebecca, if you're listening, this idea there for you for free.
I don't think she needs your ideas, JC. I think she's got plenty of ideas herself. No
Yeah, I
offense.
think she has more experience than me in this kind of stuff, but you never know, it helps.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Okay,
Next
question. Yesenia, do we trust her? Prediction, yes. Actually, I guess yes.
yes?
There's still nothing to tell us that we shouldn't. At the moment, she's still like telling the story about all the correspondence that been found or all the stuff. So
She's been kicked off the adept path, so Markham doesn't trust her either, which makes me feel like I should trust her.
yeah, but she's the one telling the story. So
Yeah, good point. She is pretty impressive, though. I mean, she was in that meeting with Grady and all of those people. They were all shouting over the top of each other. Mm-hmm. I presume they were signing at the same time. She was scribing that down. And, she's pretty impressive considering she's either hard of hearing or not able to hear. And she managed to capture all of that. So she's a pretty impressive scribe, isn't she?
Yes, definitely.
Next, will we get a new romance? I can't remember my prediction from this, but you told me how you predicted Auric and Sloane. I hoped for.
Yeah, you thought it would be Auric and Sloane, and I said it will be Auric and Kat. I remember.
So we didn't get anything between Auric and Sloane, although Sloane and Auric obviously get on.
I get half. I mean, there was a new romance. Kat was involved, but
not Auric, thank goodness.
No, Auric. At least not yet.
Oh, Kat. I feel really sorry for Kat, actually. And I never thought this would be something that I would say. She's found happiness with Traeger.
He was happy. He was having everything.
And then he was just very unlucky.
Zanal
was not with him.
It's just not the way that she lost him. It's that massive way that she had to be there and not react or try not to react.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
And she just found a bit of happiness. It makes me worry for her character arc and what's going to happen next. But also the Traeger, like the end, his death, and I said this earlier, but his death was really good. I just feel like I've read that same thing happen before. I've seen it in a film or something. I can't remember. I got a bit of deja vu. Anyway, and the sparks between Mira and Drake.
Oh, yeah, something's going on there, isn't it?
There's no romance yet, but we did speculate this from Iron Flame that they would, because when Serena and Kat they don't really welcome, but they host Violet and Mira in Corden. There is mention that Mira might be Drake's type, but she thinks he might draw the line at Ryder. Yeah, there was a lot of banter and flirting between those two, especially like Broccoli the cat and some of the arguments they were having over the right flight formation. And there's definitely
you
more.
see like some chemistry going on here.
Yeah, definitely.
So Yeah, I think we were right about it.
I think he might show up really worried about Mira. Obviously, she had a throat slit. She was mended, and Tiny's not well. Tiny hadn't recovered. Like, Ten had to fly him back, didn't he? I think Drake will come in a panic that she's not well.
Yes, we had some more stuff between maybe Imogen and Garrick. But so we saw the two, they are really close, but we don't know if it's because something happened already or because something's about to happen.
He was sleeping with a flyer, wasn't he? He was like still sleeping around, and Imogen was like kind of giving him some shit about that. So obviously there's something like they're just, and I feel like Quinn said, like, why won't you just admit it to? I feel like there was something in that conversation, but I can't really remember what it was. And not a relationship, but just picking up on the fact that I thought I wanted something to happen with Oric and Sloane. Sloane is not in the right place to have a relationship. She made me feel so sad. She is obviously struggling to deal with the fact that she was the cause of Lilith's death, even though Violet said, look, it was the only way. You did the right thing. It was her decision. But Sloane isn't wanting to she isn't wanting to use her signet.
Yeah, she's feeling like against her signet.
Traumatized. What's her other signet?
That's a good question too.
Next episode.
And then a new character we might meet.
Yeah.
So the predictions from your side was we will meet Duke Lindell. From my side, we will meet Zayden's mom. The actual is we both were right.
Yours was a bit more impressive, though. Duke Lindell was a bit wet, wasn't he? Like, there was not much character development there. We didn't really know anything
it was
about
there,
him.
but yeah, nothing.
Same as Llewellyn. I was so surprised that Duke Lindell and Llewellyn were different people. I don't know why. I just had it in my head they were the same person. We met some other people as well. We met Holden. We met Theophany. Obviously, we knew about Theophany anyway. We just didn't know her name when we got the excerpt of Onyx Storm in, I think it was Vanity Fair and Cosmopolitan. We met loads of people on the Isle Kingdoms. We met absolutely loads of Drake. Yeah, we met loads of people.
Holden was another thing that we were right because we said that yes, it connects, even when there were some comments saying that no, there's no confirmation that he never was an infantry. The thing that surprised me was that Holden, Alec, I think
Twins.
They were twins, yeah. Never had that in consideration.
Yeah.
I'd say well, maybe like a gap of 2 or 3 years or something, but no, they were twins.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
True.
That was the end of the rapid fire questions that we did last week. A mixed bag, like we said. Like, we got some right, we got some horrendously wrong, and that is obviously the more unhinged you become, the more likely you are to be wrong. And we will not stop with unhinged theories, regardless of how wrong we will be. I wanted to talk about some other things that we got right or partially right, and other things that we got totally wrong. Sawyer's metal leg. So some of the things we got right and partially right. Sawyer's metal leg, we thought that he would be back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people saw that coming too.
Yeah. I was so emotional when he managed to get onto Sleeg's back. I was like, yes, Sawyer. I think, again, we've got that on video. We can't trust Panchek, so we suspected him from the epigraph where he'd said he would attack Zolia and take out Cliffsbane
Exactly what happens, yeah.
I was so shocked that they let him into Erasure. When he was flying to Erasure with the squad and Kaori, I was like, why Panchek? Don't let him in. Don't let him in. Don't let him in.
Yeah.
There's some eggs missing. Panchek. Kaori.
You think?
No. Right. On
Yeah,
today's
maybe.
episode of What the Fuck is Kaori doing? Is he stealing eggs?
But you know the other thing that I just remembered when we saw that green dragon dead by the end of Iron Flame that we were speculating could be that maybe it's Panchek
It's not.
dragon. It's not, but
No.
now we know this there.
Yeah. So on my bingo card was they re-raised the wards in Erasure. This is partially right because they do, but I thought this would be because Warwick was lying about the fact that only a dragon can only raise one set of wards. It seems like we still think that is true because it wasn't Andana, it was her new daddy dragon, and I can't remember his name, Leothold or
Leothas or something like that.
Leothas.
Yeah,
we
I
said
think it was like something similar to
should really-
Leonidas.
Anyway, daddy,
Yeah.
seventh den.
The other thing that we were partially right or complete right is that more than Mark ones have second signet because the dragons, they were like planning all day this to happen.
Yeah, we said that the dragons were seeking out the they were bonded previously and they knew that they could trust them, so they deliberately did.
Yeah, they were like keeping with their word, so they're giving more extra weapons to the next riders.
Yeah, and so much to speculate on that. Bodhi says he doesn't have one like Xaden. So that means Bodhi doesn't know that Xaden is an intrinsic, or he's lying because he knows Xaden's lying so much. Anyway, Daxton is Violet's dad. We've talked about that already.
Yeah, you got that one.
Xaden would get worse by the end. We talked about that already.
Yep.
It's a relatively happy ending. And come at us, fine. Tell us that we're wrong. It's a relatively happy ending. We know that Violet was happy enough to marry him. They've got a plan, obviously. We just don't have that missing 12 hours or so between.
Well, it's something we know they are fine, because once Satan turned into full venom, he was talking to Zagel and said that we need to talk to them. And he said that Violet loves me enough to accept me like this. The problem is Stern. So they said we need to talk to them, and they will be the one who decide our fate. And then the next thing that we know is Violet's married with Satan. So now she owns Tyrandor as his wife. Obviously, they had a plan. The plan, it was so complex or so important for Violet herself to ask to Imogen, you need to wipe my memory. Nobody can know what we are doing. So you need to wipe the last 12 hours on my memory. And Imogen yep, you're telling me this because you had a plan, so I'll do it.
I don't think she would have done it really easily, because that's going to put so much pressure on Imogen in the next book.
And then that last note about Satan saying, don't look for me.
Yeah.
And I think they should know that that's the first thing they will do. So they're going to maybe put it.
Yeah, but Ten knows. So Ten knows what happened as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Ten. So it's Sarah Norris messaged me, and thank you so much to everyone who sent DMs. We are so behind. There's just hundreds of them, but please keep sending them. Sarah is questioning about Ten being asleep at the end and needing a cycle to rest. And she can't help wonder if it's because they got Andana to sever Ten and Sigil's mating bond, because she could technically, as an Irid, because we know that can happen. Otherwise, Ten and Sigil's distance would be too painful while Xaden's off being a Venin. So Ten needs to to get over this breaking of the bond. And I don't know, I just love it. There's so much to speculate on that. And
it makes sense. Yeah.
We will go into that. And it's horrendously sad, and that just feels like there's something that happened at the end. So things we got wrong or didn't see coming. Stopping time. So we thought that Violet would still have the ability to stop time. She did still have the dream walking ability when Andana severed the bond, but it appears that she either doesn't realize she can still stop time, or she can't still stop time. We did not see that go back in Onyx Storm. We can still speculate that could come back later, but we didn't see it in Onyx Storm.
Yes.
We did not see Violet's silver hair being a link to a goddess. Now I think it's quite clear that it's nothing to do with Venom. So that is ruled out in my books, but we didn't see Violet's link to Dune coming, and I don't know if anybody did.
No, we were more than sure there has to be something related to Venom somehow, but yeah, it's silver, no white, so that could be the hint. Yeah,
we didn't get any answers on the throne, and we speculated that there was a rune in the throne that allowed the person who was sitting there to read the mind of the person kneeling before them. We didn't get any answers on that, really.
That's still there. We don't know.
We know she's not an intrinsic in terms of reading people's minds, so that got ruled out.
That will get maybe, something for the rune.
It was either Xaden losing control, or it was the rune in the throne.
Satan's mom is Dune or Venom. So because she was in the Isle Kingdom.
We did hope she was on the Isle Kingdom.
Yes. She was, but the character, it was not that strong as I was expecting.
So disappointed. She better come back, but I'm not disappointed in the writing. I'm not disappointed in the story. I'm disappointed in her as a person, because what we found out was that she thought it was unsafe. She had to leave. They wouldn't let her take Xaden. She wanted to take Xaden, but they wouldn't let him, so she just went anyway. I would stay and die for my children, and I know you shouldn't judge mothers, and that is the last thing a mother needs is to be judged. But she just left. There must have been another reason. I don't think she was telling it. She was either not telling the truth, or she is just a bit of a shitty person.
Yeah, I was expecting something more like planned, that she knew what she was doing and it was for the good of Satan, or because she knows more about Satan than nobody else knows. Like, the stuff that we're getting from That Is Orangel, there's so much stuff now, like, oh my God, like, what is Violet in the end? There's so many things that we don't know. But in the end, it was more like she was just, oh, well, I tried to take you with me, they didn't let me, so I just left and then do my life with other people. So she's like a housewife somewhere, and it's just like.
But that's
meh.
why I don't think it's over. I think she'll come back. I think she'll come to the rescue and she'll bring the army of Hadian. Is it Hadian? I think she'll bring the army. I think because there was a thing that was like the link to Tyrandor is still through marriage or still through blood.
Yeah.
I do think she'll come through, and I hope, and that's because I'm hoping. But she is not Dune, and I mentioned the fact that I thought Xaden's mum was Dune because of the Temple of Dune in Erasure. We did get to go to the Temple of Dune in Erasure. There is one, but it's not to do with Xaden's mum. And I was so sure that he had some kind of connection to the gods, and Dune specifically. So I was totally wrong. I got the wrong main character having that connection to Dune.
Yeah.
Violet's dragon blood. I feel like this is ruled out now, right?
Yes, I think it's gonna be more for her be the commander of the sky, and that including the dragons. So we're still thinking that she is really like linking to the dragons, but the part when Turn is still saying, "I know exactly who and what you are,"
and she could still channel on the island. She couldn't channel. She could still communicate with her dragons on the Isle Kingdoms when everyone else couldn't. And that, for me, makes me think it's to do with the commanding the sky, not to do with the dragon blood. Imogen's second signet, we thought that her being fast was actually that, but obviously she can turn things into stone. We've talked about how sad that is already. And the soul dies. Does this rule out my theory that Sloane can siphon, but can return the magic and they'll get the soul back?
Yes, we learned that the soul is not just taken in replace of the magic. The soul definitely just die when you take the magic. So there's nothing to restore. It's all dead.
Yeah. Do you know what I thought was weird? And this is completely random. But all the Isle Kingdoms knew about the iridescents. Just knew about them.
True.
It wasn't hidden, or was it? It's only Navarre that's been hiding that. Anyway, right, we're just going to whiz through the things we can't wait to theorize over in our deep dives. We are not going to get into any more theories about this right now. So I'm just going to read the list because we are in danger of already going into all these theories right now. So the things we can't wait to theorize over and the things that you can look forward to in the deep dives that will start in February. The gifts from Zanal, the compass, the box of nothingness, who turned Venin, Imogen's link to the gods and her covering up her hair, Violet's link to Malak, those missing 12 hours between Xaden going full Vader and Violet getting back to Erasure as the Duchess of or potentially the Duchess of Tyrandor. Why did Andana come back? All the glorious ways Daddy Atos can die. when we will meet Granny Daxton. Why Andana's egg is the same colour as Violet's hair and the link to Dune. Berwyn's son, Panchek saying he's the only one who can give him access to his son. Lilith Sorengale, her journals, everything to do with that. Jack, we thought we would get more of Jack, so we can't wait to speculate more and deep dive into that. There is so much more, but wow, that was a lot.
Yes, we are so excited to get stuck into our chapter by chapter deep dive in February.
If you're not already doing so, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Faithfully Fantasy Pod. We now also have some options to subscribe for more content both on Instagram, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also Supercast via our website. And there are so many options to choose from, so there should be something for everyone.
We'll be more active on Instagram and Discord, so make sure that you join our conversation. We had the spoilers free and the all allowed, so make sure that you go to Discord and find us as well, Faithfully Fantasy Pod.
Yeah, we would ask you to keep spoilers out of the comments. You've done an excellent job so far. We do not want to be finding spoilers in our comments, just because we know that not all of our listeners have finished reading it yet. So just please bear that in mind when you're commenting on social media, also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., YouTube.
And with this, we only had to say thank you for listening to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast talking all things Onyx Storm. We've got you covered as we spiral out of control after finishing Onyx Storm.
Bye.